well, fit like. So we've got this like book fair that happens every like third or fourth Saturday in the hall of the local town. It's run by like the Lions Club. I don't know if any of you guys. I don't even really know what they do. But, you know, big up the Lions Club. If you guys know what it is, then fair play to you. It's just some random charity. They sell books for super cheap. I think there's some guy somewhere in my local town who's got a garage full of books that he puts into his garage, yeah, and then fills his car up every now and then and brings them down the local hall. And generally, I'm one of the youngest people there. It tends to be a heap of like, not that there's anything wrong with that, like elderly people trading Jackie Collins books and stuff like that, which is fine. I mean, if that's what you want to do. The books are like 20p, I think they charge for them. And there's folk just constantly coming in and bringing books to it. So, I mean, you know, it's not like it's stale. You don't see the same stuff all the time. And I think a lot of the people who go, they use it as like they just pick up a heap of stuff for whatever, you know, spend a couple of quid, and then they go read them or not, and then just give them back. So I think a lot of that kind of stuff is going on. But there's some great stuff there, and I want to just kind of go through and show you some of the stuff I've been getting and what I tend to look for when I go to these places. You know, because you don't choose what you're buying. It's not like you go into a high street shop and you know actively seek out what you want. You've got to wade and and find what you're buying today. It's the same with like records. Any of you who buy records out of these kind of places would know. Although on another note, I just wanted to show. I got this today. Yeah. Just need some mates now to play it. But yeah, hang on, we'll show you the... It's really sweet. Everything's there. I think I'm missing one marker, which is a guard. So I'm not sure how necessary it is. There's like 60 of them or something. I don't know if there's any spares, but I'm missing one out of the... Look at that. Out of the... like the parts list in the instructions. So anyway, really happy with that. Like I say, just need a couple of mates, and we'll maybe figure out how that thing plays. But anyway, the kind of thing I was wanting to show you, there's just banana boxes that bananas get shipped in, just filled of books, paperbacks, mostly like 90s, early 2000s paperbacks. If you like Thomas Harris, get yourself down there, because there's hundreds of copies of like Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs. In fact, I think I actually got my copy of Red Dragon from there, wherever it is. It's gone forever, but it's here, and I got it from there. I also got this. It's not even in the pile of stuff I've got to take you, but Crichton, Jurassic Park. I had one of these, and I lent it to my mate. I wasn't going to say this because I feel quite sore about it, but hopefully when he watches this I lent it to my mate anyway, and he was moving away, and I kind of sent him a message. I was like, here, have you got, my stuff? I've got a bag of your stuff, that I've borrowed off you over the years. Have you got my stuff? Have you got that Jurassic Park hardcover? He's like, oh, I've got a Jurassic Park hardcover, but I wasn't sure that it was yours. So I was like, that was mine. So barman, you got yourself a deal there. I've got another one, so it's okay. Don't worry about it. But yeah, the sort of things that I'm picking up there, you kind of just like get to boxes and there's just kind of, just random books. But these ones I bought just for this simply. It's Homer's Odyssey and the Iliad, and someone's really neatly wrote on in their bestest gold biro. They've obviously lost the covers at one stage down the line. I don't think these are too old. I think they're 1940s maybe. They're penguins. I've got a bit of a soft spot for penguin in general. 1954. So yeah, okay, they're doing no bad. 60, 70 years old? Is that right? That's not right, 60 years old. No. 70. Fair play to you. Alright. So yeah, stuff like that is what's appearing and what I'm getting. I finally got this because I finally got this Diary of a Nobody, it's called. I had the Penguin. Yeah. I had the Penguin normal paperback for ages, and then I saw this one, and if anybody has, I think this is maybe 1900s, it was a serial that was in the newspaper, Diary of a Nobody, and it's really, really funny. It's not, I know a lot of like the older, a lot of older stuff is written in a really kind of, you know, the style of the day, which is not our style today at all. But this is really, really funny, and you get drawn into it, and it's really is a shame what happens to this guy. Is that him? It's written by two guys. Lupin, I don't know, I can't remember. It's written by two brothers, I guess they are. I'll just see if I can quickly find... Okay, so this is 1892. This book isn't, obviously, this is 1945. But these, if I see these, this style of penguins, they're mine. I think, like, places who know what they're doing put a bit of price on them. Like I say, this place I'm getting them is 20p a go. And I generally, if they're there, I just buy them all. So get there before me if that's what you're looking for. I'm not planning on, like, doing anything with these. These are just books that I collect. I'm not going to, like, sell them on eBay or anything like that. But it all started with this one. Don't know if you can see that, Hilaire Belloc. I was walking to college in Aberdeen one morning, and like literally outside my flat, I was crossing the road and this was lying in the street. So I just stuck it in my pocket. Like in the middle of the road, it's beaten up to hell. But Hilaire Belloc, check him out if you can. If you're like into like poetry and stuff. He kind of reminds me of like Roald Dahl. It's stuff for kids, like. But I mean, the back, it's a story about a kid getting eaten by a lion. So you see what I mean? It's like Roald Dahl, you know, like cautionary tales, like exactly what it says. So Belloc, check him out. Yeah, and then things like, if I'm seeing stuff like this, I'm buying it all day long. 1984, George Orwell. I've got a good little collection of his. The first one that I bought was this 1984, because this one, if you see this one's printed in 1984. So that's a cool one to have. Obviously, I think it's 48 that he wrote it. Which was the idea of 84, he just flipped them, I'm pretty sure that's true. But things like this, I'm buying that all day, and this one's in great nick. It's got a shitload of biro on the back, but we can deal with that, it's really nice. And I've got most of my Orwells are in this set, which is Penguin again, I think, just an 80s version. So yeah, stuff like that, like classics, I'll just buy all day. There's Chandler's Big Sleep. If you've read that, or if you haven't read that even, if you've read that, if you haven't read that, get it read, come on now. So I mean, that's the kind of stuff, well, actually, I'll just do this one as well. Burgess, Clockwork Orange. Now, this one is missing the last chapter. I think the American printing of these had missed the last chapter. I'm pretty sure it's like the book's split into 3 parts, and each book has 6 chapters, except for the last one, which has 7. If you're buying this, it's only got 6, it stops there. If you've seen the movie, it stops when he becomes cured, if you see what I mean. That's the end. That's the end of the movie, that's the end of this book. This one, and various other ones, I'm not sure, I can't really name them, they have the extra chapter 7 of book 3. So what to do is just kind of flick to the end without hitting the last page, obviously, to figure out what's going on. But there, you can see there, chapter 6, and that's right at the end. But then this one's in really bad nick. All the pages have fallen out. But this one's got it, look, chapter 7. So you get that. That's, you know, for Clockwork Orange, you're needing the book with the extra bit. So if you didn't know that, there you go, now you do. Yeah, here's just another couple. These are all 20p, remember. I'm buying stuff like this all day. I'll give you 20p for that. No problem. So like the penguin ones with the orange, you can kind of see the top of them there. I've got a heap of them. The shelf underneath it, I've got these pelican ones, and these are kind of like when the zombies come. I'm going to be ready with this kind of shit. Like metals in the service of man. You know, we'll know our metals beyond the microscope. So there's like science in that. What happened in history? Tell me, somebody please, what happened? Plato and his dialogues. Some of these are okay. I'm not sitting down to read these. I'm picking them up and, you know, flicking through, reading pages here and there. Science and everyday life. This one's a personal favourite. I don't know what in the zombie apocalypse we'll be able to do with this, but I'm sure it would be handy. There's Lawns by R.B. Dawson. So he's where it's at when it comes to lawns. The same as E. Barrington Hayes. He's where it's at when it comes to glass. And this one's got sweet like obviously this one's got sweet photos of lawns. This one's got sweet photos of glass. But I mean, actually, if you were interested in whatever, like lead glass or whatever, this would be. If you're actually interested in crystal or whatever, I guess go with that one. And that's just basis of modern science. And you find books like this quite a lot, and they tend to be clumped. There's like, you won't just find one of these, you'll find, you know, 5, 10 all together. And like I say, 20 pence each. I got a couple there. Can handle that. So yeah, and kind of the other things I'm buying is just classics. Again, like some of the paperbacks, but they're Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. These aren't first printings or anything like that. I just like having older ones. So these ones would go, if you've read League, pick yourself up these, because they're a good background story. Yeah, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, obviously. And this one, in its own little house, is... I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you. Can you see it? The Invisible Man, H.G. Wells. This is actually one of the better... This is like Time Machine, obviously, War of the Worlds. I really like this one. I keep going back to this one. I don't know if it's because of League or just because of the way it's written. But if you've read League, they give him a first name. I'm sure it's Griffiths, but I can't remember what his first name is. But he doesn't have one in this. He's just Mr. I think it's Griffiths. But yeah, he doesn't have a first name. He doesn't get named. I'm not going to flick through for it. But yeah, so Moore gave him a first name, is what I'm trying to say. This First Stage and Injured, that would be helpful in a zombie apocalypse. I bought this one because I was studying art and design, and it's got cool, like well, these aren't maybe anatomical, but you know what I mean, it's got cool early Victorian kind of drawings in them, which was handy. I mean, if that's the kind of shit you're into for like art and that, 20p. That's just nothing. This one might offend some people, so I apologise if I do offend some people, but I'm sure I read something there, something somewhere that you're supposed to have something in your bookshelf that will offend people, or offend somebody, something like that. But this one, I really don't mean any offence by this. This is just what it's called. Yeah, Yeah, this is just what it's called, and this is super early. It's Agatha Christie. It was renamed. I bet that's going to be the thumbnail. It was renamed, and then there were none. So if anybody knows that, it's like the best-selling crime novel of all time. But she was, yeah, I mean, she had a lot to answer for later on. This one's a 1968 edition. I mean, Christ, 68, you'd have thought. But no, that's what it's called. I'm not showing it again, but